Welcome back to the second session of the first day here at the Meteorite Adventure Expo. Thanks for tuning in, YouTube. Hope you're having a nice cold lemonade there at homes. This afternoon, we're going to kick off the session with a friend of ours from Carbondale, Colorado, Peter Arlene, who's the owner and founder of MountainFlow Eco Wax. Peter and I have known each other through the trenches of the ski industry for quite some time now, I would say. Close to maybe 15 years, I think, just in and out of the ski industry, and mostly a lot of chairlifts and backcountry skiing together. Most of you know him probably from Shark Tank. If you haven't seen his segment on Shark Tank, definitely check it out. It's one of the more, I would say, entertaining as well as successful segments on Shark Tank right now. Peter came out with a ski wax a couple years ago that's all plant-based. And today here, he's going to launch his plant-based bike products. So without further ado, Peter Arlene.
Thank you, Hendy. Can you guys hear me okay? All right. My name's Peter Arlene. I'm the founder and CEO of MountainFlow Eco Wax. As Hendy mentioned, we are based in Carbondale, which is just up the road. And we make the future of ski wax and bike lube. For a while, this said the eco-friendly future of ski wax and bike lube. But we thought that was redundant because the future of ski wax and bike lube is going to be eco-friendly, and we are leading the way. You can go to the next slide. So this is just a quick look at what I'm going to talk about today. I'm hoping that this is going to be more of a conversation. So feel free to stop me along the way if you guys have questions, if something's unclear, and we'll just kind of go like that. But quickly, I'm going to talk about the overall problem that we are solving in the industry, our solution to it, a quick look at fluorocarbons, which you guys may or may not be familiar with, a deep dive on our ski and bike products, some of the success that we've had, kind of the opportunity that we're seeing in the industry, and then a quick look at the future. Okay, next slide. And then just bump it. All right. So who knows what ski wax is made from? Most ski wax. The answer's on the board if you want to cheat. Okay, petroleum. Pretty much all of the ski wax and bike lube in the world is made from petroleum. And whatever you're putting on your skis or your bike ends up directly in the environment. So all of that petroleum product, you know, when you're skiing, it comes off literally as you're skiing. When you're biking, when you're on a trail, when you're putting it on, when you wash your bike, it's coming off. And this is the classic micro-pollution problem, right? Because I don't see the ski wax coming off. I don't see the bike lube coming off on the trail. But there's 60 million skier visits in the US alone every single year. That's 60 million people with skis that are waxed. So this is millions of pounds of petroleum-based wax that go into the snowpack, and when that snow melts, into the watershed. Another part of the problem is that there's very few eco-friendly options on the market. There's a few companies that make a line of petroleum products and a one-off eco-friendly plant-based product to kind of check the box. But that's not what we do. Next slide. Great. Everything we make is entirely plant-based, biodegradable, and non-toxic. And, this is an important part, it actually works. One of the biggest things when we started is that we didn't want an asterisk next to eco-friendly, right? It's super sustainable, but it sucks. That's not a business plan. And we're not asking the consumer to make any compromises. Everything we have works just as well as the competition. It just happens to be plant-based and eco-friendly. We've run really sophisticated and detailed tests on these products, and we've proved that. We ran our ski wax through a speed trap, and we were able to show that the performance, the speed, and durability are the exact same as the competition. And we do have just recently awarded 2 patents on our formulation for the ski wax.
Nice, dude. Great.
Yeah, thank you. Fluoros. Okay, raise of hands. Who's heard of fluorocarbons, PFAS, PTFE? Yeah, everybody. And they are literally in everything. So I'm going to refer to them as fluoros. You might hear PFAS or PTFE, but they're in everything from old Teflon cooking pans to ski wax, bike lube, firefighting foam. One of the reasons they're used is that they're extremely hydrophobic, which makes them really good for ski wax, really good for bike lube. Why are they bad? Also really bad. They're a known carcinogen, and they're what's called a forever chemical. So if you think of the opposite of biodegrading, it would be something that lasts in the environment forever, and that's what these are. And they actually bioaccumulate, and what they found is that it's in the environment, it's working its way into the water, the soil, and up into the food chain, and they're finding it specifically at ski areas. So it's not from another source. The contamination is coming from ski wax. So the problem is real. What are the regulations? They are implementing a fluoro ban in all ski wax at the highest levels of racing. Pretty much every race league throughout the world, it either already is banned or it will be banned this year. And some states are now banning commercial use entirely. Vermont was the first one to get on board. You can no longer use fluorinated products. They can't be sold in the state. And we're hoping that Colorado is going to be the next one to get on board. Okay, go ahead, next slide. Okay, let's take a little bit of a deep dive into ski. We started as a ski wax company back in 2016. That was kind of our bread and butter for a while. I'll get into bike in a minute, but that's definitely our newer category. So like I was saying, pretty much all the ski wax in the world is made from petroleum and fluorocarbons. And you know, it works pretty well, and that's why people have used it forever. And for the most part, people didn't know. You know, you could talk to a ski tech. I was a ski tech for years. I didn't know what it was. I was in, you know, a small wax room breathing in the fumes. It wasn't until I started this that I understood that ski wax was made from petroleum and that there was another alternative out there. So why do we need ski wax? Like, what's the point of it? I'll give you guys a quick demo. So this is our ski base. Without any wax on your base, the snow crystals go straight to the base and causes a lot of friction, which is going to slow you down. And it's not just about speed. People are like, well, I don't need ski wax. Like, I'm not a racer. But it makes the ski work better, right? The ski is designed to be waxed and used with wax. So it's easier to turn, and it just makes it more fun. So without any wax, the snow crystals go straight to the base and cause quite a bit of friction. Now, okay, so you're saying, okay, I got to put wax on there. Why do you have 15 waxes up here? What's the difference? You need your ski wax to be just a little bit harder than the snow. So if the wax is too soft, the snow crystals are going to go all the way through the wax, and you're going to get this feeling, right? If you've got warm wax on a cold day. If your wax is too hard, the snow crystals aren't going to penetrate at all, and it's going to be the same issue, that kind of sticky feeling. Essentially, what's happening as you're skiing and why this is an environmental problem, you can picture a deck of cards underneath your ski. That's the layers of wax. As you're skiing along, the cards are coming off. The wax is literally being pulled into the snowpack. That's how wax works. So whatever you put on your ski ends up in the environment. How did we make it? In my kitchen, of course. It took us 200 iterations to get the formula dialed before we had something that worked well and was unique enough to be patented. We couldn't work with a scientist or a lab because it was too slow. I was skiing every day and cooking wax every night and iterating as fast as I could. So it took 200 formulations and 2 years to get the product dialed. So what was I thinking about when I was going through that process? I looked at petroleum-based wax, everything else that was on the market, figured out the characteristics that made it good. And then I found plant-based ingredients that exemplified those characteristics. One of the big things you need in ski wax is for it to be hydrophobic, right? So it repels water, like a Gore-Tex jacket, which is made, well, it used to be made from fluoro. So anyway, if you look at that top picture, that's a leaf from a plant, and I've never had a jacket that water repellent, right? So the point here is we don't have to sacrifice because we're using plant-based ingredients. Some of the characteristics of plants are better than what we can get from petroleum. And again, that's the goal of this whole brand. We're not making any sacrifices. Quick look at the product lineup. we now offer just about everything. This is our standard hot wax here. We've got a full temperature range. As you can see, even the packaging is sustainable. This packaging is made from 100% recycled paper. It's recyclable and compostable, along with the wax. I could throw this in the backyard, and eventually it would break down. So full line of hot wax. We also have quick waxes here. So if people don't have the iron, the whole setup, they can grab one of these. It's a puck with an applicator pad. You can rub it on your skis in the parking lot, and you're good to go. Skin wax, we have a spray and a rub. We have base prep, molly, kind of everything you would need for a full wax setup. And then we do have our line of race wax as well. And I'll get into that a little bit more later, but this is all non-fluoro, so fully legal with all of the new regulations. You'll notice that I didn't say plant-based on the front. If you tell a ski racer something's even eco-friendly, they're going to run away from it. So I snuck in biodegradable, but really what we're talking about with this product is performance, because it does work just as well as the other non-fluoro race waxes on the market. And then new this year, we've got wax kits. We're launching this in conjunction with REI. We kind of worked with them to develop this whole package. They were like, this is what we need. This is what we don't see is on the market. This comes with an iron, a brush, scraper, and 2 bars of wax. And it retails for $99. This itself, we couldn't make it recycled, unfortunately. But our goal was to make it reusable and repurposable. You know, people are going to buy this, and they're going to take the stuff out and wax with it at their house. But now they've got a lunchbox. You can throw a beer in here, a sandwich, head to the hill. And that's our goal. Like, we want everything that we make to either be fully recyclable or repurposable. Great holiday gift if you guys are looking for one. OK, next slide. Bike stuff. So when COVID hit and the ski resorts shut down, we panicked a little bit. I probably called Hendy and Mike a few times that week. Look into your crystal ball. What's going to happen with the ski industry? And we didn't know at the time, to be honest, right? The ski resorts had never shut down worldwide. That was the only thing we sold. And so we did some soul searching. We looked at a lot of products. And we talked about getting into candles. Frankly, the market for candles is way bigger than ski wax. And then we started thinking about bike. And people have been asking us for bike products for years. A lot of our ski shops were also bike shops. And I said, hey, we need something like this for the summer. And so we put the pedal to the metal on R&D and came out with a full line of plant-based biodegradable bike products. It's almost the same story as ski wax. The bike stuff on the market is almost all petroleum-based. A lot of it comes from the automotive industry. If you go to the bike lube aisle in your bike shop, it looks like you're in Napa, right? Everything's got checkered flags, and it doesn't look like something a mountain biker would pick up. And so we wanted to do something differently. And you can see just from the way ours looks, this doesn't look like something you'd put in your car. Quick lesson on how bike lube works. So the goal is to reduce the friction in your drivetrain, which is back here. One of the biggest misconceptions is that when you're putting bike lube on, it's made to lubricate the interface between your chain and the cassette. Turns out that's not the case. What you're actually doing is getting the bike lube in the inside parts of each link, right? Each one of these links has 8 parts, and that's where the lubricant is needed. And so when you're putting bike lube on, put it on, you cycle your chain, it gets on the inside, and then you wipe the crap out of it, right? I always thought, wait, why am I wiping this? I just put it on. Why am I taking it off? Because it's actually working on the inside. Maybe you guys knew that. I didn't know that. And it makes the lube work way better. The more you can get it off, the less dirt you're going to bring in. So quick little bike tech lesson. How did we make it? Same story as the ski wax. We looked at the characteristics of a traditional petroleum-based lube. How can we find those same characteristics in a plant-based product? We sent this out to bike techs around the world. and said, hey, tell us what you think. Honest feedback, right? It's harder to do an objective test with bike lube, so we relied on people's anecdotal response. Everybody said, yeah, works the same, can't tell the difference. And so again, we're not sacrificing any performance with this product. We've got a full lineup here. We've got 4 different lubes, and these are based on the riding conditions. So this is a wet lube for wet conditions, not used too much around here, but Pacific Northwest, Vancouver area, using that a lot. This is our all-weather, so that's kind of the regular go-to. You can use it any day. This is a dry lube. This is the world's only non-flammable dry lube. Most dry lube is made with a really volatile petroleum-based solvent. So when you put it on, it evaporates super quickly, and you're left with just a dry, thin layer of lube on your bike chain. This is a water-based product. We use exclusive sonic emulsion technology. It's a big word for the day. Essentially, that means that when you put this on, the water is exploding off of the oil, and it allows it to dry just as quickly. Totally non-flammable, non-toxic. We can ship it around the world. It's a better product, and it's easier to work with. This is our wax lube, also good for dry conditions. You put it on, it dries completely on a drivetrain. You guys might be familiar with Squirt. That's like the big name in wax-based lube. It works great. They use a paraffin wax as their active ingredient. Paraffin is petroleum-based. We use all-natural wax in here. This is my go-to for around here. Works super well. We've got bike grease, plant-based, all-purpose bike grease. And we also have a line of bike wash. This is our 2-in-1 bike wash. You'll notice it's a pretty interesting bottle, right? Cardboard bottle with a plastic bladder. 70% less plastic than a traditional plastic bottle. You know what? It doesn't cost us any more than if I were to buy a plastic bottle. Why not everybody's using these? I'm not sure. But we sell a ton of these because it pops, right? That's going to look different than everything else on the shelf. And it works just as well. Next year, we're launching a bike polish. So it's like a light, clean, polish and shine. And it's going to come in, again, non-plastic bottle. We're also working on a full line of brushes. Pretty much all the bike brushes on the market, they're plastic. They've got plastic bristles. They're just a lot of plastic. We're using a Tampico bristle, which is all natural, recycled plastic, and a bamboo handle. Okay, next slide. So just a quick little success slide here. We're now in over 450 doors around the world. Most of the big ones you guys would recognize: REI, MEC, Walmart, Blue Tomato in Europe, Moose Jaw, yada, yada. We're in 15 international markets and expanding as we move into the bike market. We're getting more and more traction from the resort community. These waxes here are available in bulk for rental fleets. So we started working with Aspen Snowmass. We just signed on with Stevens Pass, and we've gotten word from the Vail network that they want to try to bring this more incorporated into all of the Vail resorts. Ski resorts use a ton of wax. Killington, for example, has 5,000 skis in their rental fleet. All of those are waxed probably once a week. That's a ton of wax. And so they're able to bring this in. They're the ones that really make the big environmental impact because they're using the volume. Our pro team, we're fortunate enough to have some of the best skiers and riders and mountain bikers in the world on our team. This is Colby Stevenson out of Park City, 2-time X Games gold medalist, 2-time FIS World Cup champion from last year. We also have World Cup champions and Olympic medalists. As Henny mentioned, I was on Shark Tank in February. If you ask anyone in Carbondale, they'll say the mustache guy was on Shark Tank. I get catcalled on Main Street all the time. It's kind of my perfect level of being famous, Carbondale famous. And then some awards. This is from the last time we were at OR. Meteorite team helped us bring home quite a bit of hardware. Outdoor Retailer Innovation Award, Outside Magazine Gear of the Show, Business Insider Gear of the Show, and then Gear Institute Best New Gear. Okay, next slide. So consumer appeal, this is one of the things that's most exciting to me. What we found recently is that it's not just the REI customer that wants high-performance, eco-friendly products. We recently had a call with the buyers from Walmart in both their ski and bike division, and they both bought in on these products. I had zero expectations for these calls. I didn't think that Walmart even sold ski wax, but they're getting into it, and I figured this bike stuff wouldn't be a fit for them. But what they're seeing is that people want a sustainable product, something they can use with their kids, feel good about, and not worried about, you know, the toxic side effects, and also know that it's going to work just as well. So again, very few companies are in REI and Walmart, and we're really excited to be able to bridge that gap. Sustainability in general is huge. It's been huge. It's huge in the outdoor industry. The Ernst & Young Future Consumer Index just came out, and what they found is since COVID, consumers are prioritizing sustainability over price. Right? Price was always the top indicator of what you're going to buy, and now sustainability is over that. Certifications, we are both B Corp certified, and our products are USDA certified bio-based. So we're the only company in the world to have both of those certs. The only, ski wax and bike lube company to have those. Next slide. So just a quick look at what we're working on. Some of this we've already launched by now. We came out with a line of race wax, and we happen to get the best skier in the world to be racing on it. This is Alexander Kilda. He's the 2020 overall World Cup champion. In America, he's more famous for being Michaela Schifrin's new boyfriend. He's a great guy. He's been skiing on our wax. He won back-to-back World Cup races on our wax last year. So when I approach people and say, hey, I've got this great new race wax, it's eco-friendly, you know, ski racers go, get out of here. I don't like eco-friendly. It's got to be bad. I say, oh, you know Kilda? Yeah, he won 2 races on the wax. And they go, oh, all right, I'll try some of that. So stoked to have him on the team. You know, one of the new verticals that we're moving into is the fly fishing space. I'm not a fly fisherman. Some fly fishermen approached me with this problem, and what they said was that, okay, so first of all, what is fly floating? If you're not a fly fisherman, sometimes you want your fly to float, sometimes you want it to sink. If you want it to float, you got to put something on it to make it float. And some of the leading products on the market are petroleum-based. And when you cast your fly, there's actually an oil slick on the water because you're literally just casting gasoline. That's the solvent. And I was like, oh, that sounds terrible. And so I worked together with a team of engineers to develop an all-natural fly floating. And we just filed our patent application on that and are looking to get it on the market as soon as possible.
Wow.
Yeah. Cool. And that's all I got. So thank you.
What's, how many in your team right now?
We have 2 other full-time employees. We are hiring a national sales director right now. So that'll be 4 total.
You are.
Yeah.
And everything's made in the U.S.?
Everything's made in the U.S. except for the accessories. Yep, everything else is U.S. manufactured. Yep.
For the ski wax, is the application process the same, like with normal petroleum base?
Yep. Application process. So the question was, is the application process the same? And yes. Iron it on, let it cool, scrape it off.
Is it measurable, the fluoros that the ski areas are like putting into their own snowpack? I mean, does Killington know how much pollutants they'd save by going to something like this? Is there some sort of a number, or is that not measurable at this point?
So they have been able to measure it, not at Killington specifically. They measure it at a lot of Nordic ski areas because, right, you're in the same tracks. Everybody's in the same track, so it concentrates in one spot, and so it's easier to measure. So there was a professor in Maine who recently came out with a study saying, yeah, we found the fluoros. It's not, you know, whatever next to the dining hall. It's at the ski area, the Nordic ski area on campus. And so that was a big aha. Everyone knew fluoros were out there because they're in everything, but it was a little unclear whether it was really coming from ski wax. And so what this study showed is, yep, it's coming from the wax. There's even, we had a PhD student from France reaching out. She's doing her doctoral thesis on fluoros from ski areas getting into cows, getting into French cheese. So if that doesn't break your heart, I mean, come on.
Do you feel competitors are coming after you now at this point with the fists and some of the regulations that are banned in the U.S. racing?
Yes, the question was, are competitors coming after us? 100%. We haven't seen another big brand come out with a full line of plant-based products, but we know it's just a matter of time. You know, our goal is to grow this brand sustainably but quickly so that we become the name in eco-friendly wax.
How about durable waterproof repellents? I know Polartec just came out with one that's not PFAS-based.
Yep.
Are you guys looking at the DWR space at all?
Yeah, so the question was, are we looking at any eco-friendly DWR? And yes, we have started to go down that path. That's a huge, huge opportunity. A lot of durable water-resistant coatings are fluoro-based. We just haven't figured it out yet, but hopefully.
So how close are you to having the wax is faster than fluorocarbon wax?
Well, fluorocarbons are tricky. I'd say we're as fast as any non-fluoro wax out there, and we're competitive with the fluoros, but there's a reason everybody used them when they could, because they do work well.
What's the trick? Just that fluorocarbons are more hydrophobic?
Yeah, they're just really hydrophobic is kind of the key. And I think we're going to get to the point, and everyone's going to get to the point, where it'll be just as fast as the fluoros. Right? There's no reason that we can't figure it out. It's just new, right? The ban is just going into effect. It's pushing companies to figure it out. All right.
How's the price point compared to traditional wax?
Middle of the market. So definitely not the cheapest thing on the shelf, but not the most expensive.
Awesome.
Yep. There's really no downsides.
Love it.
Well, Peter's around. If you guys have follow-up questions at all, let us know. We really appreciate your time, Peter. Congratulations on the success of your brand.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just because, thank you at home for viewing. Hopefully you learned something out of that. So we've got one more presentation today with the Mountainsmith folks. We're just going to flip this room here. So can we just do like 10 minutes and then just get right into it? Does that work? All right, 10 minutes.